Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Scott and Jaime Show. I'm Scott with Velocity.
And I'm Jaime, also with Velocity.
And this week's topic is the skinny on exercise. And there are two parts we want to talk about, Jaime, in just a few minutes. Isn't that right?
Yeah, and I'm like, what are the two parts?
Yeah, and this is Jaime's topic too, because Jaime has sort of really embraced the new healthy habits, and you have a wonderful person you're working with as well.
Yes.
Holly Harmon, who we love, Holly Harmon Health.
Holly Harmon.
We love Holly Harmon Health. She's amazing. She's a gifted health counselor and wellness counselor. And so this has really brought up this topic of, first of all, it's the new year.
Right.
And everyone, it seems like, is at the gym. I know not everyone is, but it seems that way. Trying to come up with ways in which to have this new habit of exercise stick. And a recent University College London study talks about how, although some habits only take 3 weeks to stick, exercise takes 3 times as long to actually...
66 days. And in my own exercise journey, because Scott goes to the church of the gym, so he does not need help with this, but in my own exercise journey, I've really been focusing on doing activities that I want to do versus forcing myself to go to the gym and do the elliptical and hate every minute of it. And so I've been using a tracking device to just track how many steps I walk and trying to beat a goal on the tracking device. And then on the app on my phone, it gives me a little dance when I've beaten the goal. And I started this a little bit lackadaisically, but now 8 days in a row of beating the goal. And I have found that I'm doing really interesting things to keep that goal. But 8 days, not enough.
No, not enough. You have 58 to go.
More.
Yes, you have 58 more to go.
Yeah, and I think other people think, oh, well, I've gone to the gym a couple of times this week, you know, I don't understand why I keep failing. And so learning that exercise is the least sticky habit is the first sort of step to saying, this is going to take much longer than I think, and that exercise sort of has a long tail.
Yeah, and I think the idea of creating the habit, what's so important is to do it slowly as well.
Yeah.
The number one reason why people stop exercising is not because they lose interest, it's because they get injured. That's the number one reason why people stop an exercise program, which shocks most people. And I know that when I started this exercise journey, gosh, almost 20 years ago. Yeah. And Jaime, when you can say 20 years ago and have been an adult 20 years ago, you know you're on your way up.
Yeah.
You know, you definitely know.
Yeah.
So I started with, and my brother-in-law's advice was just start walking.
Yeah.
And from walking it led to everything else.
Yeah, yeah. So there really is this long tail. But the second thing that's really interesting about why it takes 66 days and why exercise is not sticky is another set of research that we found recently by Dr. Arts.
You love saying that name, as if anyone knows who Dr. Arts is.
Dr.
He's a Norwegian, right?
Hank Arts.
It's not Hank, it's Hank. And Jaime cannot pronounce the name Hank.
I can't pronounce him. Dr. Arts.
Yes.
We're not going to say his first name.
Hank.
He did the research that says people who use environmental cues to form a habit are far more successful. In fact, 91% of people who were using environmental cues in one of his studies completed their task.
And what is an environmental cue?
So an environmental cue is the idea that habits make you break your routine. If you're trying to do a new thing, you have to break your routine to do it. So if you're like, oh, I need to remember to go to the post office, right? So you're going to say, tomorrow, I'm going to go to the post office and drop off the letter. And tomorrow comes and the day ends and you're like, oh, I forgot the letter. That's because you had a time-based cue. You were saying when you were going to do it. What an environmental cue is after I get off of work, before I go home tomorrow, on the drive home, I'm going to drive past the post office and drop off the letter. That's an environmental cue. So you are reminded of it as you're already doing your routine.
Right.
So why is exercise then, why does that make sense with environmental cues? That exercise would be more difficult. You have any idea?
I don't have an idea. You have to tell us.
Okay, I'm going to tell you.
I mean, I'm so excited here. I could barely contain the excitement.
Because think about how much routine disruption happens when you're building an exercise habit. I mean, you weren't going to the gym, so now you have to break the routine of going home or getting up earlier, right? Then you have to go to the gym and break the routine of being sedentary. versus doing an activity, that's a lot of routine disruption. So if you are talking about building an exercise habit, do it in such a way with those small steps so you are making your routine disruption so much easier. Do it with environmental cues like after work, I'm going to drive to the gym. What if I don't go in? Is that okay?
That's totally fine. Because
Totally
if I said
fine.
otherwise, you'd probably get upset right now, I can tell. That was really a leading question.
It was a leading question.
Definitely. That's because you were trained as an attorney.
Yeah. But just breaking the routine of going home directly after work and instead making the left to go to the gym instead of the right to go home is enough of a habit or a routine disruption that you could make that your first step.
And again, baby steps. Realizing it can take over 2 months. It's interesting that gyms usually thin out by the middle of February. And that's because people only gave it a few weeks and they probably got injured because they thought, I have to run 10 miles every single day in order to lose 15 pounds a week while I eat my grapefruit diet and probably poison the inside of my body. So moderation, small steps, listen to your body, become more comfortable listening to your body. That's the key.
Yep.
And you can do it.
And using those environmental cues to help you out.
Absolutely. By Dr. Arts himself. Told us all about it.
Dr. Arts.
You're loving Arts.
I do love him.
Yeah, we love the Norwegians.
Yeah.
All right, thank you all very much for watching another episode, and we'll see you next week for another episode of The Scott and Jaime Show. Bye for now.
Hi.